First off, there's a concept called retail readiness on Amazon, which is like table stakes. So you want to fill up your image carousel. Amazon gives you 7 or so slots to put your images in. Fill up the image carousel. Make sure you've got infographics. Make sure you've got video content. Make sure you've got a brand store built out. Make sure you've got A+ content built out, which is like rich content that helps drive higher conversion rates on the platform. Make sure you have 20 to 25 plus 4.5+ star product reviews. Super critical, super important. Make sure you're leveraging Amazon's Prime delivery and Prime fulfillment. Amazon prioritizes products in their search algorithm that are offering Prime delivery because it's a high quality service. So that's like the basics called retail readiness. So I would start there.
Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience. Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. My name is Arlen. I'm your host. Today we've got a very special guest, Dan Brownsher, who is the president, CEO, and co-founder at Channel Key. Welcome to the podcast, Dan.
Hey, Arlen. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be diving deep into your area of expertise, which is Amazon. We're going to talk about high-level Amazon business strategies from a higher level, see how it can be applicable for direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands, how they can kind of dabble into Amazon to further their reach. And, you're going to provide us some insight into that. But before we do get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into what you're doing today?
Yeah, it's good question, Arlen. So let's see. I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. So Channel Key is a full-service channel management agency, right? And we work with brand owners, manufacturers, typically mid-market and enterprise-level brands. And we help develop their strategies for Amazon, and we execute those strategies, right? So we're a full service agency focused on Amazon. We do anything from graphic design and copywriting to full funnel ad management, DSP, really high level strategic work on the Amazon platform. We're a fully remote shop, been around since 2017. I got about 85 people on my staff. And we spun out of a sister org that I co-founded back in 2008, which was a product business. So literally as a side hustle with me and some college buddies, I was on a train in Munich, Germany, and with a buddy, and we decided to start an e-commerce business simply for the reason of trying to learn how to sell stuff on the internet. So we did that. I remember sourcing cufflinks on Alibaba and shipping into my home and taking photos of them in my basement. And we started selling on eBay. And total side hustle. My partner then moved to Las Vegas, which is where I live now. And we started attending trade shows and buying brand name merchandise like back in 2009, 2010, and started selling that merchandise on Amazon. Right. So we started as private label, and then we started becoming basically a reseller on Amazon in the early days. And when we started that, Arlen, the business absolutely exploded, like in a positive way. So that was kind of the come up for us, is started side hustle, private label, started selling on Amazon branded merch, and the business exploded, Inc. 500, fastest growing company in Nevada, multiple times in a row. And that's where we learned our Amazon chops. And ultimately I baited the Channel Key concept at that business and formally spun it out in January of 2017.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. That's some awesome stuff. Now, of course, you've been with Amazon and doing things with Amazon for a long time.
Yeah.
You mentioned you got into it selling cufflinks. Were there any other products that you guys were selling at the time, or how did you guys kind of branch out?
Yeah. So we started we just picked a random category. So the category I was involved with is cufflinks, money clips.
Okay.
My partner had a similar business with his now wife doing purse hooks, right?
Okay.
So there's a hook, you hang it on a table, and you put your purse in, so your purse doesn't sit on the ground. We were selling crystallized merchandise. We were selling reusable bags, and ultimately kind of brought all those businesses together and created this larger entity. And then when we really hit our stride was in, 2014-ish. We pivoted the business back to private label and went very deep on loungewear, sleepwear. We had a big adult animal onesie business, which was pretty insane. We were big in patio, lawn and garden, solar lighting, etc. So kind of a diverse category set, and we're fairly early on in this Amazon private label game where you're finding this white space on Amazon, sourcing products, and making sure that you start indexing and search on the platform. So that's what we did.
Okay, yeah, that's some awesome stuff. Yeah, so it sounds like you were, had a diverse offering there, a variety of different products that seemed like they did well, and it's good to know that. As a business owner, prior to you launching your service business, that you pretty much had your hands all in Amazon, and so when you're advising customers and from the consulting standpoint, you kind of know what you're talking about because you've been really all in for a long time. And so leads me to the first question for any brands that are listening that are either on Amazon or looking to get into Amazon. What would you say are the top strategies for brands that are looking to optimize their presence? Because that's what it's all about. You have to optimize it, or else no one's going to see you. No one's going to click on your products. No one's going to buy anything.
Yeah. It's a great question. And Arlen, you basically gave me part of my sales pitch, right? What I say is we've made the mistakes so our clients don't have to, right? We built that business ourselves. So it's good. I'm glad you keyed in on that. So let's see. Top strategies. This is a tough question, right? Because there's so many different things you can do on Amazon. But if I had to pinpoint like the top three, they would be, first off, there's a concept called retail readiness on Amazon. Okay. Which is like table stakes. So you want to fill up your image carousel, right? Amazon gives you 7 or so slots to put your images in. Fill up the image carousel. Make sure you've got infographics. Make sure you've got video content. Make sure you've got a brand store built out. Make sure you've got A+ content built out, which is like rich content that helps drive higher conversion rates on the platform. Make sure you have 20 to 25 plus 4.5+ star product reviews. Super critical, super important. Make sure you're leveraging Amazon's Prime delivery and Prime fulfillment. Okay. So Amazon prioritizes products in their search algorithm that are offering Prime delivery, right? Because it's a high quality service. So that's like the basics called retail readiness. Okay. So I would start there. Okay. Next, I would encourage brands to get clarity around which part of the advertising funnel that they're targeting. Okay. So Amazon's got a massive advertising business, and it continues to grow really quickly, and it continues to get more complex. And you can enter and participate in every single segment of the advertising funnel. You can do awareness, you can do mid funnel, you can do bottom funnel, transactional type ads. And so brands need to get super clear on which part of the funnel they want to attack. Okay. Most brands start at the bottom of the funnel, which is smart. Okay. But at some point that taps out, and you've got to start moving up the funnel to generate more awareness and find more customers. And so if brands aren't clear on which part of the funnel they're in and which part they should be in, that's an opportunity. And I think the last part is just data visibility. Whether you're a seller on Amazon or a vendor on Amazon, there is so much data that you can access. But sometimes it's really hard because there's so much of it. And the way you find it is very disparate, right? It's all over the place. And so I would encourage brands to get super clear on the KPIs and the data points that they really care about, and make sure they've got a high level of visibility around those KPIs on an ongoing basis.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. And getting back to initially with the retail readiness.
Yeah.
I'm super familiar with Amazon because I think if you were at my house, you'd probably see stacks of Amazon boxes at my door almost every day.
Appreciate that, Arlen.
No problem. I'm constantly ordering because, of course, the convenience with the Prime. And I'm always about optimizing my time and my schedule. And so rather than me go out somewhere, I'm just on Amazon ordering. One of the things I've noticed just from appearing on looking at different stores is, you mentioned some key things there. The brand store.
Yeah.
I've noticed there's some brands not. What would you say are the percentage of brands that actually have a brand store, and how much of that is a factor for conversions, their overall clicks that they're getting? How much of that is really?
I think there's a high percentage of Amazon brands or brands selling on Amazon that have an actual brand store. Okay. But I think very few of them are optimized.
I see.
Okay. And brand stores are becoming much more important for Amazon sellers. And that's been we've noticed that over the years, right? So Amazon, call it, 2015 to 2017, 2018, in my opinion, was very transactionally based, right? It was about the transaction. And we noticed a shift where Amazon started focusing more around giving brands tools to tell their story, to convey their brand story, to interact with customers outside of the platform. That was a shift. And furthermore, stores are now indexing in search. And so I think that a lot of brands have stores. They're just not fully optimized, or they're not taking advantage of all the widgets, all the opportunities, all the remarketing you can do within those stores.
Okay. Yeah. And that's kind of what I've noticed for me, just kind of looking at it. I'm starting to see a lot more of those brand stores.
Yeah.
I think the good thing with those, and where from a consumer standpoint, it always helps me, because when I'm looking there at these different brands, if I'm looking at a particular product and it's not quite the right fit, but I'm like, all right, this seems like a good brand. The reviews are good. It seems like a solid product, but that's not the exact one that I need.
Yeah.
I'm immediately clicking on that brand store just to see, okay, what else do they have? Is there something else that can meet my needs? And so I can see how that is very powerful.
And too, Arlen, I mean, Amazon is becoming a brand discovery platform. And so like if you're searching, if you don't have any sort of brand affinity, a lot of consumers are doing their research on Amazon, and they might go to their store. They might navigate to the store, and guess what? It depending upon the size of the purchase, they might try and find the brand's actual.com, right? And ideally, what we're doing is not confusing the consumer, right? We want their experience to be on the .com to be very similar, if not the same, or as close as possible to the experience of the brand store on Amazon. Right. We want to feature the same products. We have this similar category structure and breakdown and navigation. So it's really critical. It helps drive conversion, helps build trust with brands on top of reviews and all of these other elements.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let's say a brand they're on Amazon. They're, I guess you could say, kind of a mid-sized company. They're doing okay in sales.
Yeah.
But they're struggling to, get that increase in sales and getting up to the next level.
Yeah.
What would you say is the first step in diagnosing what the problem could be with their challenges that they may have?
You have to look at the data. Okay. And it could be any number of different issues that they're experiencing. It's never like a single thing. Okay. And this is what we do all the time. We get folks that come to us that are interested in getting a better result or a better outcome. They're working they're doing it themselves, or they're working with a current agency or whatever, and they're not getting a good result. And, we audit the business and we look at a number of different things. But if I had to just kind of riff on a few things, like if you have to think about Amazon as just a giant search engine, okay? And so if your brand is flat or declining, well, what's the search volume for your brand? Is that flat and declining? What's happening off Amazon with your brand? Is it flat or is it declining? Is this an Amazon problem or is this a brand issue? Which product category are you in, right? So what's the search volume on Amazon for your product type? Perhaps there's less demand for your product type. Good, super easy example is hand sanitizer, right? During COVID, hand sanitizer was through the roof, right? But post-COVID, guess what? People are searching a lot less for hand sanitizer. So your market's going to be down. Okay, so what's the search dynamic for your branded search, your non-branded search, your category search? What's your competition doing, right? How's their pricing? Are the ASPs up or down compared to yours? Are you priced higher than them? How do you compare? What are your in-stock rates? We see it all the time. Companies come to us, they're like, hey, our brand is flat or it's declining. And it's like, well, it's because your products aren't in stock. We have an issue with forecasting and demand planning. Super common. What are your conversion rates? Maybe you need to update your catalog content, update your brand store, update your A+. Your conversion rate drops for some reason. Maybe you got some bad reviews. What's your buy box percentage? Okay, it's a nuanced KPI that's super important on Amazon. But a lot of times, Amazon's an open marketplace. And you might have gray market goods getting into the marketplace, and you might have a reseller that's competing against you on the platform. So in actuality, your brand volume might be increasing, but you're just getting less share because you're losing what's called the buy box. And then ultimately, like organic placement, right? Back to Amazon being a search engine, where are you placed and where are you indexing for the most relevant search terms in the platform? And if you're dropping, you're losing volume.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you kind of open up a lot of things there that brands may not be thinking of offhand, because immediately when your sales start declining, you're thinking, okay, what is the problem with our listing? Is there something we're doing? But like you said, there's like a number of things. It could be things off platform that are affecting it. Like you said, it could just be the season. Like you mentioned, of course, during COVID, how hand sanitizer was through the roof. Of course, now nobody's looking for that. So things like that are just totally external to just everything. But then there could be competition things. So I see that there's a lot of things that a brand really has to look at before, pointing the finger at one item that they may be doing wrong.
And the key is like, try to remove subjectivity. Like try to remove what you think. What does the data tell us? And typically the data will tell us a very crystal clear story.
Yeah, for sure. That's always the case. Follow the data.
Yeah.
Now, in your opinion, what would you say would be the most overlooked aspect of an Amazon business strategy that you've seen from your dealings that companies should really start paying more attention to?
I think the super sexy topic related to Amazon is around advertising.
Okay.
Right. And that's what a lot of agencies talk about. That's what the focus is. And what tends to happen or can happen, to your previous question, hey, my brand is down, my business is flat or declining. The easy answer is, well, let's spend more money on ads, right? That's not always the right answer, right? There's always some underlying issue. So if it's me, I think the most impactful, under discussed topic is around demand planning. And making sure that you are crystal clear on what your stock levels are, what they have to be to hit whatever forecast you have in place. What is your promotional schedule? What is your pricing schedule? When are you advertising most and not? When's Prime Day? And making sure that you keep your products in stock and you have a forward-looking demand plan that can service that volume.
Yeah,
it's an unsexy topic, and people don't talk about it. And we work with some big brands, and they struggle with it. It's super important.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. That forecasting of that is really important. I mean, that's the last thing you want, is to not be able to have that inventory in place when you're getting any customers coming to your store. I mean, just from my opinion, when I go to stores, especially if it's something that's a new product that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
If it's out of stock or they're saying it's unavailable, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to go back. I'm
You're
not going to check.
switching. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm switching. I'm thinking of something else. And
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
it's you do have one chance usually to kind of capture the attention sometimes, and so that can definitely paint a negative picture for your brand. Now, how would you say strategies for success with Amazon differ than the strategies for some of these other platforms, like the Walmarts of the world, the
Yeah.
eBays, and some of these other marketplaces? Is it similar, or is it a totally different animal?
It's a totally different animal, Arlen. Like it's
Okay.
a totally different animal. And like, so I'm an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of what a lot of entrepreneurs are guilty of is like, chasing shiny objects,
Right.
Is the next thing, or what's the next thing? And I've fortunately have a strong leadership team that will check me and say, hey, dude, you get time out, right? And one of the things that has come up over the years, and I've been doing this for a long time, is, well, what about eBay? What about Target? What about Walmart? What about all these other platforms? Why are we just doing Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is, Amazon is the biggest, it's the baddest, and it is from an e-com perspective, the most complex. Okay, you've got the most ad types. It's a pure meritocracy. You've got vendor opportunities. You've got seller opportunities. And in my opinion, it's just way more sophisticated than these other platforms. And there's exceedingly more traffic and conversions that are happening. So I'm pro other marketplaces. I'm pro Walmart. We service Walmart for a lot of clients. And our experience has been, there's just not enough traffic.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not enough volume. And so you absolutely have to treat Amazon like its own beast, because it's got its own interface. It's got its own interaction. It's got its own ad types. It's got its own tentpole events. And it's different, right? I mean, eBay, we don't even talk about eBay at this point. Like eBay is not even on our radar. Right?
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, because every now and then we see these different marketplaces come up. So what you're saying is Walmart, they don't even, as far as the traffic, as far as conversions you can get, it doesn't even come close to what you can get on Amazon.
It's getting better, right? And I'm bullish on Walmart ultimately, and I think they've got a great value prop, and if they can leverage their real estate footprint, it could be super powerful. So I'm bullish on it, but it's just not quite there yet.
It's not there yet. There's been other marketplaces that kind of pop up from the hold that Amazon has on the market right now. Is there any hope for a newbie in the space? Because, I guess several years ago, there was the jet.com that came out of nowhere. And I don't know what's happening with them at this point, but
they were bought by Walmart.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. So is that the only route that a new player in this space has? Is that if they get enough market share, are they just going to get swallowed up by Amazon or Walmart?
I don't think so. I mean, you've got Temu, you've got Shein, which are newer players. You've got TikTok Shop, which is a newer player. And I think competition is good. And I think they'll do well ultimately if the value prop is right. Like the value prop for Temu and Shein is different than the Amazon value prop.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
The TikTok Shop value prop is different, and I think consumers are engaging with that particular value prop. It's different, right? If I want to buy something super cheap in bulk, and Temu might be a good option for me, especially if I don't care if it takes 2 weeks to receive the merchandise. So I think it's the mighty always fall, and I think Amazon is doing extremely well right now, and they've got a ton of runway. And I think other marketplaces will continue to pop up and do well and take share. And I think, e-com as a percentage of total retail is still pretty small, right? It's still pretty small and nascent. So there's a ton of blue sky ahead, I think, for Amazon, but also other platforms that spin up that have a very clear value prop. So again, I'm very long on Walmart. And I think Temu and Shein are doing well. They're certainly, spending a lot of money, and same with TikTok Shop.
Okay. Yeah. I see that. You're right. Their value proposition is totally different. It's totally different than Amazon. When you're thinking of certain things, like you said, super cheap items in bulk, you think of Timo, you're not necessarily Amazon. And so there's definitely a lot of people
Yeah.
that are going to go that route. A lot of could be small retail shops that need to, replenish their inventory. They may go that route. And,
Yeah.
Or, if you're planning a large party and you need, you need a ton of party favors, you may go the Temu route as opposed to the Amazon. So I can see that.
Amazon recently actually responded to that. They came up with a new like factory direct program. I think in direct response to Temu, right? So it's on their radar, right? They know about it. So it's competition, and it's good.
Yeah, it helps for sure.
Yeah,
that's good to know. Well, Dan, as we get ready to wrap things up, I wanted to see if we're looking into the future, what emerging trends do you see shaping the future of Amazon, an Amazon business strategy over, let's say, the next 5 years?
Great question. There's a handful of topics that I'm watching that I think are interesting. One of them is something called non-endemic DSP. Okay, so Amazon's got their own DSP, which is a demand side platform. It's programmatic ad buying, right? So Amazon built their own DSP. And what we're seeing and what's interesting right now, given their investment in Thursday Night Football, given their investment in various sports leagues and content, that you no longer have to actually sell a physical product on Amazon to leverage their advertising.
Okay.
You can sell a service, right? You could be like we're talking to a pet pharmacy right now that is trying to get more users to their site. And guess what? You can leverage Amazon's customer data. Like they don't give you the actual customer data, but you can build personas based off of their retail customer data and remarket and advertise to that cohort through their DSP.
Okay.
Which is super interesting, super powerful. Okay. So that's the big trend. That's
very interesting. Where in the case of your client there, that's the pet pharmacy, how does that work as far as the display of the ads? Is it within a different set of their network, or where is it displayed?
Yeah, good question. So you can display ads on Amazon owned properties.
Okay.
Right. So it could be Amazon.com. It could be IMDb.com. Right. You can do streaming TV ads on Prime Video. You can buy ads during Thursday Night Football. Right. So DSP and buying those ads, they can be displayed all over the internet.
Okay.
And through the various exchanges.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and I'm starting to see that now anyway with the Prime Video.
Yeah,
where they're having the ads at the beginning of the shows and the movies now, and they're charging if you want to remove that.
Exactly.
Yeah, actually, because I just signed up to pay for the non-ad.
The ad free.
The ad free because they're starting to get it out there. Yeah, and so I see as they're starting to, based on their network, they're starting to acquire a lot more real estate for you to have placements appear different places. So
they're producing great content, right? And partnering up with the right leagues, and I mean they own MGM, right? They own that property and all that content, so they're leveraging that to the hilt, and it's a big opportunity.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Well, that's great. Well, it's good to know. This has also been an awesome conversation, Dan. I really appreciate having you on. I've learned a ton.
Thanks,
and I know our listeners and viewers have as well. But lastly, before we do let you go, I always like to see if we can get to know a little bit more about you. If you don't mind sharing one closing fun fact about yourself that you think we'd be interested to know.
Okay. It's a good question, Arlen. Let's see. I live in Las Vegas. I grew up in the Midwest. I've got twins. Wife and family here in Vegas. And I think, I don't know, one of the more interesting things about me is I have gone scuba. I'm a certified scuba diver, and I've dove with great white sharks.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
In a cage. I was in a cage, but
in a cage. Okay. Got it. I'm glad you clarified that, because I was like, I don't quite know if that's something I would do. I'm here in Florida, and we, believe it or not, there has been some great white sharks sighted in off of the Cape Canaveral area. I've seen different things. They can come this way, which they're I talked about different animal. They're a different animal compared to the the sharks that we have here. But yeah, that's interesting, man. Yeah, I've thought about trying scuba diving. Actually, I took an intro class one time here in Florida. They had a scuba diving place where they had a scuba pool.
Yeah,
and I did the whole intro class with the gear. And me being in Florida, it's definitely something I think I may do again and try to take it to the next level.
It's a whole new world down there underneath the.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that, Dan. I appreciate that. Lastly, before we let you go, if our listeners and viewers want to reach out to you, pick your brain any more about all things Amazon, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, good question, Arlen. So I'm super active on LinkedIn. So you can find me, Dan Brownsher, on LinkedIn. You can go to our website. So go to channelkey.com. You can sign up to receive our blogs, our newsletters, etc. And those would be the best ways. We're super active. Check us out on YouTube as well. We put a lot of video content, but we're all over the place. If you search us on LinkedIn or search Channel Key or search me on LinkedIn or through our website or through YouTube, that's the best way to get us.
All right. Well, sounds good. Well, we'll definitely have those links within the show notes so people can reach out to you and get a hold of you. Well, thank you for sharing with us, Dan. We really appreciate having you on the E-commerce Marketing Podcast.
Thanks for having me, Arlen. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level but are tired of weeding through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.